Today's video, we're going to be going over my red Komodo rig, things that I've bought that I've used, things that I've bought that I used and don't use no more. Okay, so starting off with the camera body itself, I've decided to go with the Tilta cage that has the rosette attachments on each side. Now, the reason why I ended up going that route was because, well, one, it had the tactical gray, which I thought would look cool on the black Komodo, but I also wanted to purchase these rosette attachment side handles, which I have been using for previous shoots, but I no longer use them anymore just because I find the build and rig to be somewhat a little bit too big, and that's why I ended up going with the outrigger handle, which actually has a record button on top, and then you can actually swivel this piece right here, which was a no-brainer for me because I purchased the Tilta side handle with the cage. But I always found myself, like, my wrist was always kind of hurting when I would get down on lower angles. So yeah, I would highly recommend the outrigger handle, especially that, you know, it's got the record function on top. Now, the only thing that I don't really like about the outrigger handle is that they should have added some sort of attachment to slide on a NATO rail, or had a NATO rail built in on top of the outrigger handle, just so you can slide on like a handle or a hot shoe or cold shoe adapter for a monitor. But so as you can tell, I have a NATO rail attachment on top of that, which I can put my handle or another attachment for the monitor. Another key function that I ended up going with the Komodo build is a bigger V-mount battery, and the reason is because, you know, I can just basically shoot all day on one battery, and it's also going to make my handheld a little bit more stabilized. It's going to eliminate those micro jitters. Yes, it is going to make your rig and everything holding experience of the camera a little bit heavier, but I mean, it is going to make those shots in the end a lot better and smoother. So I would highly recommend going with a bigger V mount and something that has more attachments where you can attach a USB or D-tap, especially, you know, if you are running a monitor and you want to go from DC in to D-tap, so then you can run everything off of one V mount battery. And I previously picked up the Axoon follow focus, which is really great. I have been using the Nucleus M follow focus, but I've just ran into so many problems. It wasn't really user friendly, so then I ended up picking this up. And the reason why I ended up going this route with the Axoon wireless follow focus is it's got like such a cool quick attachment that's super easy to attach and detach. It comes with a USB-C right angle to D-tap, which is pretty cool, so you can get that high voltage for power. I have tried the Canon FD 35mm f2.0 concave lens. That lens is a little bit rougher but very smooth, and the motor was able to get the focus through on that lens. The Tilta Nucleus one wasn't able to, didn't have enough juice, so the Axoon was a little bit stronger in the end on that. I always find myself using the Sigma 18 to 35. Now, the only downside of using this lens is you have to shoot in 4K. This is a crop sensor lens, so now when you are shooting in 4K, you are getting a crop, so you are going to bypass the vignetting, which when you do shoot on an 18mm. One thing I also do is I attach the speed booster when I do shoot in 4K and in 6K. Every time I am shooting, I always find myself going with this lens. Now, the only reason why is the autofocus on the red Komodo, it is great, and I find myself using it maybe 80% of the time. But when I am not using the autofocus on the Sigma or any other autofocus lens, I do find myself using the Rokinona DSX cine lenses. Now, this lens is a t1.5, so you are going to get a lot of light coming in versus the f1.8 or whatever lenses you are using on your rig. And these lenses are probably one of the cheaper cine lenses you can pick up right now for the price for full frame. So another thing that I wanted to touch on is the batteries. So like I said, I am using bigger V mounts, but I've also picked up these Juice Box JB 955s. Now, the reason why I picked these up is because if I am doing gimbal shots on the Komodo, I just find that the rig is going to be somewhat a little bit lighter instead of going with the V mount. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about is the top handle that I am using I am using the smallrig handle. So on the top right here, I have this ready for my monitor, and on the side, I can attach my microphone, which brings me to, this is the Comica ZVM20. This microphone is great. It's got great audio. It's got an actual gain dial on the back, which is going to give you an indication of how much level is coming into the microphone. So the next topic I want to talk about is monitors that I use. This is a newer monitor that I have been using. I was running into some problems with this. I did return one. I got another one. Thank God for Amazon's return policy. Super great. So now this is the Hollyland Mars M1. It's got an HDMI, SDI, and it's basically a wireless transmitter built in, so you can hook this up to your phone, or if you buy another one of these, you have a wireless transmitter or director's monitor. Also for memory cards, I am using the Angelbird 256 and a 512 cfast. I have no problems with those as they are RED approved. So that's the rig right there. We got the Sigma 18 to 35, the Axoon wireless follow focus, smallrig top handle. We got the Hollyland Mars M1, and then we also got the Shape 270 watt vmount battery on the back, which, like I said, it is super heavy, but it is going to give you that better, very much more fluid-like movements. Handheld shots are going to be less jittery. That's my build for my red Komodo, but that's it for today's video, and then we will see you guys on the next one.